thought of that, you know?
No, I told my mom that the other day. I'm like, Rudy, who's obviously actually
was a real football player.
And then Forrest Gump's obviously not real, but he's a darn good football player.
Oh, right, yeah.
I forgot all about that.
It's funny because when I first watched that movie, I didn't even know what Alabama football was. I was like 5 years old or something. It's like I didn't know. I didn't watch football at that time. So
the only reason, you know, you say, why are you an Alabama fan? The only reason I'm an Alabama fan, the first time I ever watched a college football game, because, you know, back in the 70s you didn't get much coverage other than on bowl day.
yeah, you're not going to get the ESPN 24/7 news cycle.
Exactly. I watched Alabama play in the Rose Bowl with Kenny Stabler as their quarterback. Yeah, and that's why I became an Oakland Raider fan. I'm 10 years old. I'm not a fan of football. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
And so I watched this guy, Kenny Stabler. He's called the Gambler. He's left-handed, the Snake, and he winds up on Oakland. So then I became an Oakland Raider fan because of that. So those are my two favorite teams. No rhyme or reason.
Yeah, you just kind of like, well, I mean, with me personally, the reason why I like Notre Dame is because my grandfather's a huge Notre Dame fan. He grew up back in the day, you know, 40s, 50s. Notre Dame was all they talked about in college football. So he loved them, and then when I go over to his house, he'd watch Notre Dame, and that's how I got to start liking it. And I've been a true fan. The problem is, like, I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, but there's a lot of fair weather fans out there. For example, this year, well,
out of the woodwork,
yeah,
make me sick.
And it's because,
make me sick.
For example, this year they're really, really good. So people are like, I see on Facebook, like, oh, Notre Dame. Where were you when they were 3-9 in 2007? I watched every single game. They're like, oh, yo, Notre Dame sucks. Now that they're good, people are like, oh, I love Notre Dame now. I'm going to go put on Rudy and get all excited. Well, you know what? You got to be a fan when they're not good. You can't just be like, oh, they're good now, and then like, I love them. You know, you got to truly be a fan. You can't just be a fair weather guy.
I agree 100%.
Okay, yeah, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know any other Notre Dame fans yet. Facebook is plastered with them.
Oh yeah, no, they come out of the just because it's Notre Dame. Okay, honestly, you have to admit, even though Alabama's a historic program as well, people tend to say if you don't know anything about college football, certain teams you think of when you hear of college football, you think of Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama, even, but that's more to the South, though, right? People here,
here's what I believe: if you don't know anything about college football, don't watch. Okay, don't jump on the bandwagon. I don't want to hear what you have to say because you have nothing intelligent to say. You're just jumping on the bandwagon. Don't want to hear it. Sorry.
Well, that can be a legitimate point, and I agree sometimes when people, like, when you can kind of poke holes in their theory when they talk about a certain team, and this could be in any sport, whether college football, hockey, baseball, and they just start to love them, and it's just like, I remember when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, these guys were like, no, but some people who were like, oh, I'm not really a Red Sox fan, and then they beat the Yankees, and then they won the World Series. Oh, I love the Red Sox now. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Been a Red Sox fan since 1970. Suffered.
Yeah, suffered. Yeah, but if you're a legitimate fan. Yeah.
Wanted to kill myself over the years. And finally win, and everybody's a Red Sox fan. Do you know that? It's incredible. Do you know that the city of Boston is about 1 million people? 3 million people showed up for the parade. Where the hell did they all come from? I don't understand.
How many people are even in Massachusetts?
Exactly. Exactly. Everyone's a Red Sox fan all of a sudden. I'm like, where have you been when I was crying? Never, you know.
Maybe you just have emotional problems. And there's another thing. Well, you can say another thing about another Boston-based team, New England Patriots. How many people were New England Patriots fans when good old Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback? When you know what I mean? Not that many, but then obviously Tom Brady, they went on that dynasty. It's like St. Louis, when St. Louis was awesome back with Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk,
everyone's a Rams fan.
Everyone's a Rams fan. And then they went downhill for a lot of years there.
That's why.
How many people are Rams? Unless you live in St. Louis or you're from St. Louis, you got ties to the area.
That's why.
Same type of thing.
When you want the goods, you come right here. Andy and Nick, because we don't waver. I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm an Oakland Raider fan. Disgusting team. I'm a Canucks fan. Weak. Okay? But I never change. And I know Andy, same thing. He sticks to what he likes, and he never changes. You want the goods? Right here.
Well, here's another thing. Nick was going to bring his green suit today, and I guess I'm like one of those Vancouver Canuck guys to see.
Yeah, except I grew a little too big over Christmas, and I wouldn't fit in it.
Oh, man. See, it's funny, because my friend Nick here, he likes a wide array of teams. Usually people, when they like certain teams, they usually like them from a certain area. If you're a Toronto guy, you might like the Blue Jays, the Leafs, Argonauts, stuff like that. Nick, Alabama, Oakland, Vancouver.
I'm all over the map.
Boston Red Sox. He's got a bit of West Coast, East Coast.
I'm a multicultural guy. I just embrace it all. I bring it all in.
Exactly. And me personally, hockey fan, obviously the Leafs. College football, Notre Dame. Baseball, Toronto Blue Jays. CFL, Toronto Argonauts. Basketball, honestly, in the NBA, I don't know who my favorite. I don't really have a favorite team. Maybe I would like to see the Raptors do well, but they suck. They're actually on a winning streak now.
Well, in college basketball, I'm a UNLV
UNLV,
fan, and Anthony Bennett from Brampton, Ontario.
There we go.
Big dude. If
Going to
he
the
comes
NBA?
out, he may come out this year. He's only a freshman, and he may come out. I hope the Raptors come last because that'll give me a chance to pull for the Raptors.
Because
I'm not a Raptor fan.
Yeah.
So
Who are you a fan?
I'm a Boston Celtic fan.
Celtics. All
Yes,
right.
yes. And
Did you start liking them when they were like back in the day, the 80s, when they were like the best?
Yeah.
Or-
Well, they weren't the best. The
or
Lakers
Larry
were
Bird.
always the Knicks were there. The Lakers were there. Then Boston went on a little bit of a run when they put their team together and took out Kobe and the boys. That was probably my greatest
you don't like
moment.
Kobe? You don't like Kobe?
He's a rapist. That's all I have to say. I don't like Kobe. He's a rapist. He got away with it. And so I hope he loses every time he steps on the court.